Apologies for not making a video for the last while, but there were some valid reasons. Firstly, I work 2 jobs. That eats up a lot of my time. One of those jobs does involve video, so that's pretty cool. But of course I'm working on 2 projects, or I was working on 2 projects with that. I'm still working on one, the big TV job, which seems to be ever ongoing. That deadline I think is in a couple of weeks, so. The other project that I was working on was this one. I got it right, yeah. Here. So check that out. It's a music video I made, so it's pretty good. Good old rock and roll. I like it. So check it out. Another reason why I didn't make anything in what, was it, almost a week or something? Yeah. Was that I lent my camera to my buddy. So, you know. I actually didn't have a camera for a couple of days. This guy's a good friend of mine and I often lend him my camera. I have no problems with that. He always takes care of it. But he didn't tell me he turned off the audio. Which means I sat here for an hour and shot this video, well, the first version of it, without realizing the audio wasn't enabled. Yeah, so that kind of pissed me off a little bit. There were quite a few profanities shouted in the last few minutes. When stuff like that happens, it's just so disheartening. Anyway, here's a funny story that I had told in the previous video, which I'm going to try, well, it's actually not really a funny story, but here's a story that I told in the previous video that happened to me this morning. Yeah, and I'm going to try and recreate some of that. I mean, the first video was fantastic. It was perfect, you know. The delivery of every single line was 100% spot on. So camera problems aside, here's what happened this morning. I went for a ride on my bicycle, which is not uncommon. I do that about 2 to 3 times a week anyway. There's one particular part of the route. One particular part of the route that I do that I have to slow down quite a lot for. The bicycle track ends, quite a narrow footpath, some doors, you know, people can easily step out in front of you. Bus stop nearby as well. So I always slow down when I'm coming to this point. There's no speed whatsoever. Once I get past this point, I turn left onto a one-way street. The one-way street being in the direction that I'm driving. Yeah, is that how you word that? I'm going the right way down a one-way street. There's never any chance of a car coming up the wrong way. But today there was a cyclist coming up the other way. So as soon as I rounded the corner, it was one of those everything happens in slow motion kind of things. So I instinctively reach for the brakes, skid. Then right at the moment I think I'm going to collide with this other guy, I lift my right hand off to brace myself to block any impact. Of course that's the back brake, which means then I go kind of forward over the handlebars, but kind of to the left at the same time, and as I kind of do a somersault over the front of the handlebars, I put my right hand down. You know, all those nights of doing drunken ninja rolls finally paid off, and I was able to roll. Did a roll over, I was pretty safe. Bit sore, bit throbbing, but generally fine. And so I get up and I turn around and look at the other guy, and he's just like old, overweight guy. Just kind of looking at me chuckling, you know. Oh yeah, are you okay? Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even get off his bike to help me up or anything. He didn't even pull the brakes. Dick. Yeah, so anyway, I gathered myself, dusted myself off, checked the bike, it was fine. Decided to add a couple of kilometers to my route just to... It was like some kind of self-punishment for no reason whatsoever. I don't know. But I guess it did get me thinking about safety. I decided I'm going to go and buy a helmet. They're quite inexpensive and could be the difference between life and death. You never know. Well, in fact, I kind of looked at statistics of cyclists dying. 1 death every 32 million kilometers. That's over 800 times around the world. That's a lot of cycling I gotta do. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen at all. In the UK in 2011 there was over 3,000 bicycle related deaths. Of course most of these deaths involve colliding with a car or other vehicle. It still happens unfortunately. And when there is a collision and subsequent death, it's usually due to a head related injury. I do have 2 friends who are involved in pretty bad cycling accidents. One wore a helmet, he was completely fine. He showed me the helmet afterwards and it was pretty bad crack. It wasn't too good at all. The other friend was hit by a car and she wasn't wearing a helmet, but thankfully she was still okay. She still hasn't been on a bicycle since. So yeah, I guess she'll have to get a helmet before she gets on a bike again, because biking is good fun and it's healthy. And there's safety in numbers. From what I've read, the better the infrastructure for cycling there is, the more people cycle and the less accidents there are, because motorists change their habits. They're used to having a lot of cyclists around, so they're more aware and thus they take more care. Fair play to you guys. So yeah, so get out there and get on your bike. If you have any funny stories or any misadventures about cycling, then yeah, please let me know down in the comments. I'll make sure to read all of them and respond if I can. Read all of them. My most commented video has 2 comments. So yeah, don't be a fool. Wrap your helmet related innuendo.